Hi, this is Wendy Boulevard. I'm coming to you because I want to talk about physical abuse. Physical abuse is an act where one person uses their body in order to inflict harm or injury upon another person. First, let's make sure we understand exactly what physical abuse may entail, as the definition given was in some sense a bit broad. Physical abuse can involve somebody slapping another person. We often see in the movies people slapping one another when angry and then going on about their day as if nothing happened. However, slapping someone is a form of physical abuse. Don't let Hollywood fool you. Another form of physical abuse sometimes brushes aside as nothing too major is hair pulling. While siblings sometimes do this when they're fighting, it doesn't make it right, especially when it's adults involved, and it's still a form of physical abuse nonetheless. Furthermore, do not assume physical abuse always has to involve direct contact. Some forms of physical abuse are indirect. For example, someone may spit on you. Yes, they didn't directly hit you, but they spit at you, and it's still a form of physical abuse. Worse, they may throw an object at you like a chair or a cup. Another direct body-to-body contact that occurs, but the act itself is highly and aggressive physical nevertheless. So meaning that if they throw that cup at you, that's still physical abuse, because they're throwing an object to hit you because you're not close enough for them to slap you in the face. So let's just make sure we have that correct. Actually, physical abuse can entail something else we didn't think about as being stereotypically physically abusive. For example, a person forces you to swallow something that hurts you, like a chemical or even a medication you don't need. That is physical abuse as well. They may not have hit you, but what they force you to do is physically abusive. So if you were taking a medication, let's say as an elder, and then all of a sudden your doctor tells you to stop it, and your caretaker forces you to take it because they don't know the doctor said to stop it, that is still physical abuse. Other forms of physical abuse you're probably more familiar with include punching, kicking, shaking, suffocating, pinching, biting, scratching, burning someone. That is a form of typical abuse. The effect of physical abuse can be both acute or chronic. For a long period of time, unfortunately, physical abuse is often far-reaching and affects the friends and or the loved ones of both the individual and the abuser. Physical abuse affects a large percentage of people in America. Over 10 million American adults on an average are abused by their spouse or partners each year. 1 in 15 children either witness or they also experience physical abuse at home. But there is also cause for hope, because now there are, in fact, bills that have come into play, like the Violence Against Women Act in 1994, intimate partners physical abuse has declined by 67%. That's because people are getting out of those relationships. They're reporting these people that are very abusive. There's also signs of physical abuse. There's cuts, there's bruises, there's burns, there's restraints, or gag, or grip marks, like if they grab you by your hand, and their black eyes, unusual patterns of injuries, repeat trips to the emergency room. And now emergency personnel in ERs, they're very aware of this and they look for this. While there isn't also, but besides the physical abuse, there's also verbiage that comes out of their mouth while they're doing it, like name calling, putting you down. They're over angry, they threaten, they attempt to intimidate the abusee, they restrain the visitors or the victim's movements. They prevent them from going to school, going to work, being around their family. Restrictions, there's restrictions on the victim's access to money. There's jealousy, possessiveness. Oh, I'm just doing this to protect you. No, you're not. You're just doing it because you're an idiot. And that is from my own personal stance. A delay between the time of injury and seeking treatment. This is because the victim is unable to leave the house for treatment or due to the shame that they feel over the abuse. Victims' fears of disagreeing with their abusers, of getting hit again. The abuser harasses other people or animals in the victim's life. Less obvious signs of physical abuse. While the above signs of physical abuse are visible to outsiders, other signs of physical abuse may be less. You might not see the signs. Social withdrawal or isolation. Vast medical complaints such as chronic headaches, fatigues, or stomach pain, pelvic pain, urinary tract infections, unwanted pregnancy, lack of prenatal care, sexual problems, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, fearfulness. And the abusee, the one that's getting abused, might turn to substance, alcohol and drug abuse because of what they're experiencing. I can say firsthand knowledge, it's best to leave the relationship. I know it's like, well, maybe if I'm a better person, he'll be a better person. No, this is a learned experience. This is trauma from their childhood. Nothing you do is ever anything that you do as a human being is not the reason why you get abused. You get abused because they want to control you. Nothing is okay. It's never okay that, well, maybe if I would have worn my dress a little longer. No, this is how he has learned to control in a relationship, because he's learned it at home, or she's learned it at home through watching their parents. Always ask, oh, so you hit women, is that because you watched your parents hit each other? And usually that's the case. And that's what happens when you are physically abused. And if you're being physically abused, may I suggest, as a domestic violence survivor, please call the 800 number, get yourself some help, get out of the relationship. Because trust me, you don't deserve, nothing you've done deserves for him to hit you. So until we meet again, goodbye, God bless, and have a great day.